It was the middle of April. My bank account was dragging lower than the belly of a cockroach in a basement. I needed a job, and I was far beyond the point where I could cherry-pick high-profile gigs. Hell, 2 more weeks and I'd be bussing tables down at Marv's Diner. So naturally, I leapt at the gig sent down to me through the central agency. The case wasn't anything you'd see in one of those new convoluted crime films, but there were some undertones of evil. Given the chance, people won't hesitate to take advantage of each other. Take this photographer, for instance, accused of blackmailing lovebirds with the photos he snapped as they walked out of some dusty Plain Jane motel at the edge of town. I had 4 leads, so I rounded them up and let them sit down and tell me their tales of bribery and deceit. Hopefully, this would get me enough coin to pay next month's rent. First up was Jules Widmark. She had seen the whole thing from a greasy spoon across the interstate.
So there's this guy, right? Supposedly he makes all this money by hanging out and stalking women. We've all seen him around. I've heard that he spends random Saturday afternoons crouched between cars outside the hotel. He looks for couples mainly, displaying what he calls all the telltale symptoms of a pair having an affair. He says the man always comes out of the room first, looking guilty, shifty eyes sliding side to side. The photographer stays hidden, slyly snapping photos as the couple embraces. When the man makes for his car, the photographer will hide his camera underneath his jacket, pretending that he's searching for his keys. He waits for the woman, who is always his intended mark. As soon as the man leaves, the photographer will advance upon her, snapping photos right and left. He approaches and says, "I know all about you too." No matter what she says in her defense, she always pays up. She just reaches into her wallet and hands him whatever cash she has. Last time the woman's guilty conscience even got him a sweet pair of ruby earrings. He told me once, "This is how I make my living, simple and clean." I told him how much time he would end up doing for these robberies, basically blackmailing them for all they have. You know what he said to me? "This is a completely legal business operation." As much as I don't buy that, the thing is, he never has film in his camera at all. And he's right, you can't call that a crime.
Next up was Sylvia Parker. Her story revolved around a military man.
The woman in the story is my mother, and she told me it happened this way. The man and woman left the hotel. It was a somber and slightly sad goodbye. As my mother and father left, a man was taking pictures nearby and somehow lost his footing. His camera clicked as he yelled out, "Whoa!" and struggled to regain his balance, and my mother noticed. My mother walked over to the man with the camera. My mother, being a kind person, asked if the man was okay. "Yeah, I think so," the man replied. My mother was concerned. "You didn't take any pictures, did you?" The photographer saw she was worried and noticed she had some cash in her purse. "Yeah, I think I did." My mother then said, "See, tomorrow my husband's being deployed back to war. We just wanted to see each other one more time before he left, but if the government finds out, there could be consequences." Not knowing what to do, my mother asked if she could buy the film from him. The starving artist replied, "Sure, but it'll cost you." "How much?" she asked. "What do you got?" he said as he looked at the cash. "Oh, just take it," my mother said as she exchanged what little money she had for the film.
Vivian Steiner sat down and provided me with the makings of a femme fatale.
So my best friend's boyfriend's mom used to work with that woman's neighbor. And wait, I don't think that's how this story goes. Okay, so anyways, the photographer's outside the hotel, crouched in the bushes. He waits for the guy to leave. And then he jumps up and begins snapping photos of the woman. I know all about the two of you. She stopped and just stared. The photographer kept snapping away, and finally she said, "Give me the film." Oh, you should have seen the look on his face. First he was shocked, but then he sort of smirked. But before he knew it, she was all over him. She reached into her bag, pulled a gun, and pointed it right at him. Well, that stopped him right in his tracks. He threw up his hands and said, Hey, whoa, let's not be crazy here, lady." So she cocks the gun, holds out her hand, and says, "Give me the film." He wasn't so tough now, and sure enough, he takes out the film and tosses it to her. Oh yeah, he was scared. Alright, lady, you got what you want. Listen, we don't have to tell nobody about this. It's just business, alright? Well, she started to put the gun away, and he ran off as fast as his legs would go. Sure is, the woman said as she turned back towards the hotel. The best part was, the gun wasn't even loaded. See, he was trying to blackmail her like he had done to so many other women, but this broad wasn't buying it.
I was close to the end of my rope by the time I got to talk to Ray Ridley.
Well, some of your facts are right, but we seem to differ on some crucial details. See, what typically happens is this. This photographer loiters outside of the hotel waiting for the couple to emerge. You might think that they'd come out separately, but the woman almost always follows just behind the man. The photographer typically takes a number of photos in rapid succession and then, with a slight laugh, remarks, "I know all about the two of you." The guy is completely surprised and the woman generally begins to make a scene, starting out slowly and then losing it. Oftentimes, if the guy hasn't taken off already, the woman will shout the man's name as she really gets worked up. She'll give him money, usually a wad of bills. Did everything work out alright? Like a charm. I got your text message and came straight away. You were brilliant, you always are. At this point, the photographer usually hands over the film and they work out the final details. This one was loaded, and he has kids, so your final cut should be even more. I'll keep you posted as I work out all of the details over the coming days. Works for me. And from there, they exchange their final pleasantries and depart, each going their separate way. So you see, he does indeed shoot the photos, but she's the brains behind the entire operation. She's the professional. He's merely a pawn in her great scheme. All he really does is take the pictures and take his cut. And he gets paid well, don't get me wrong, but she is able to extort thousands upon thousands of dollars from some of her marks.
4 separate stories from 4 separate fools. I had played them all like a hand of gin rummy. Their stories painted the picture of someone down on his luck, someone trying to put together a month's rent. Sound familiar? If you were in my situation, you wouldn't blame me either. Business is business, and now all I had to do was decide who to pin it on. All this stilted conversation had made me thirsty. I stepped out into the night air with an eye for the nearest tavern. This is how I make my living. Simple and clean.
I have no reason why. I'll do what I want and you'll like it. You'll like it. I need no reason why. I'll do what I want and you'll like it. You'll like it. Please ask me where I was today. I have no